Hi guys, welcome to Office Blokes React. I'm Office Bloke Dave.
I'm Office Bloke Mike.
I'm Office Bloke Daz.
How's everyone doing out there? Are you feeling a bit salty today? We are the Office Blokes, and we are absolutely adored by everyone.
Are
aren't
we?
we?
No way, not a chance.
Me especially, according
You
to
are,
the comment.
yeah, you are.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, I'd say me and Mike are actually. Would you agree with that, Mike?
Yeah, universally. How Saltbae became absolutely hated by everyone.
By everyone. I think that's a bit of an overstatement, but he is.
Who's Saltbae?
You do know him.
He dresses like Johnny Depp and sprinkles salt on steaks in restaurants.
He does like
With
cuts
little
it with a knife
round-
and pulls the bone out. If you know what I mean.
No idea.
Likes to pull his bone out.
I'm sure he does, but I mean,
He's
what's
the one
actually
that
do?
he's the one that got hold of the World Cup when Argentina won it. Somehow got on the
Yeah.
pitch.
Yeah,
Black grease back hair.
I vaguely remember it, but I've
Turkey. I think he's Turkish.
I've never
right?
seen him before.
he's
I want to say
somewhere
Turkish.
like that.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
He's got a chain of restaurants where you can get steaks for like $2,000
With gold in it.
Yeah, and gold. What's it called? Gold leaf.
Yeah.
Round steaks. And
I don't
they
think he
just-
does chicken. That's probably why you've never heard of him.
That'll be why. I mean, if it's
Don't do
just
chicken
steaks,
and pasta.
what is the point?
Exactly.
And they won't even be well done either. Incinerated.
You're not allowed well done steaks.
Of course, yeah.
You get kicked out of nice restaurants if you ask for well done.
You should be
Go
able
and
to
eat in the alleyway with the peasants.
Eat
How you want.
Eat however you want is what I always say to
Exactly.
everyone. Eat however you want.
As long as it's no more cooked
It's not,
than
no,
medium.
no. It's up to you what you want.
Yeah.
It's your taste, it's your food.
Well
you're paying for it.
Incinerated.
The chef's
Burnt.
just there to do it how you want
Burnt
it.
steak.
Lovely.
Old people. Anyway, how Saltbae became absolutely hated by everyone. Let's do it.
From relative obscurity to being banned from some of the most prestigious sporting events on the globe, Saltbae, as he's known to most, went from a viral meme to one of the most hated people on the internet. Wow!
I bet he's worth millions though.
Nusret Gökçe was born in 1983, Turkey, to a Kurdish family. He grew up poor, with his father working in the mines, which forced him to leave school at the age of 12 to become an apprentice butcher in Istanbul. Growing up around food, it's unsurprising he pursued this profession further into adulthood. Around
Monobrow, that, isn't it?
up around food.
I've been to Istanbul, right? And it's a lovely place if you like busy traffic and stuff like that, right? But if someone says I'm an apprentice butcher from Istanbul, it just sounds like a thing for a murderer, doesn't it?
It does actually, yeah.
So you chop people up, right?
Yeah.
Got you. Just doesn't sound right, does it?
No.
Yeah.
When you say that.
Good point.
It's unsurprising he pursued this
There you
profession
go.
Yeah.
That is a brow.
further into adulthood. Around 2007, he began to travel around the world volunteering in kitchens wherever he went, just to gain the experience in the industry. In 2010, he returned to Istanbul where he opened his first restaurant, Nusret Steakhouse. This was a smash success. Reviews talk about great food, the nice atmosphere, perfect service, and an incredible bargain in pricing. 3 people could eat a 3-course meal with coffees and soft drinks for around $70 total. Within a year of being open, with people claiming it to be the best steakhouse in Istanbul, the prices had went up massively. $70 would get one person a meal. This continued to get higher and higher until 2014, where
French fries, 15 quid, Mike.
Did you see the Johnny Walker Black Label?
a meal. This continued to get higher.
Oh, it's Johnny Walker Blue, I suppose. That's more
It's
expensive anyway. isn't it?
$92 each. Well, what's that, about 70 quid over here?
For a single whiskey.
Yeah, well, I've paid something similar.
You pay more than
For
that.
Pappy Van Winkle.
Yeah.
I'd look at the can of Sprite for $10. Wow. That's some markup, that.
No, but it's one of them. I don't care what things cost, because if it's too expensive, don't go in.
Yeah, I agree
You
with
know
that.
what it costs before you
Oh,
go.
yeah. Oh, it don't bother me what prices
Yeah,
are.
no,
I just
I know.
won't go in.
Yeah,
You
extortion,
don't see me
aren't
even
they?
a million miles of
You
it.
should.
But don't leave a comment on it neither and say like it's way too pricey. Don't go in. You don't have to go in.
But
Yeah,
the thing is,
Someone will pay it.
if you're happy to pay those prices, if it's amazing and then the food is absolute shite, then you can complain it's
Correct.
overpriced,
Correct.
and that
Yep.
might be the issue.
Yep, correct.
Yeah, fair enough.
I've seen a lot of YouTubers go to his restaurant in London though, and they've all said the food is really nice.
Yeah, I've heard that.
It's some of the
I've heard
best
one in
steaks I've ever had.
Yeah.
But crazy expensive.
Yeah.
But yeah, I am with you on that. If you know what you're getting yourself into, you know the prices, that's on you.
Sprite at $10, and that's not far behind today's prices anyway.
In a pub.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's about 6 quid in a pub, innit, for a Sprite now.
No, it's nowhere near.
But it ain't far behind, mate. Not in your pubs, maybe. In certain pubs I've gone in, it's more than a fiver.
higher and higher until 2014, where $70 wouldn't even get you 4 cans of Red Bull anymore. So what happened? Being an ambitious man who had travelled the world, Nusret's next step was to bring his fine dining cuisine to the billionaire's backyard, Dubai. This restaurant, unlike the humble beginnings, was all about flair and excess. The perfect place to eat for those who have money and enjoy flaunting it. Social media trends for the restaurant chain name were starting to increase. Images of people enjoying their $400 steaks and their $10,000 bills started to circulate, and despite the ridiculousness of that sentence, it only increased in popularity as time went by. One of the reasons social media has received criticism is for exactly this type of excess, where spending extravagant amounts of money on the same products or services, sometimes inferior to that of cheaper alternatives, is seen as a good thing for your social status. Now take that concept and turn it into a physical location. That was the Dubai branch of Nusret Steakhouse. This, however, was just the beginning. You've probably all seen videos at some point of expensive restaurants where the service staff do some interesting, cool, unique, or terrible presentation.
Like Indian Mr. Bean.
He was, yeah. He had the teddy as well, didn't he?
Oh, yes, yeah.
Do you know what? If you're in a steakhouse, right, and someone brings a steak over and you stand there and start slicing, you just be like, mate, just cut it.
Oh, no, it blind me right up that.
Mind you, I have been into like teppanyaki, hibachi,
Yeah.
where they flick the food at you. You've got to try and catch it in your mouth.
But that's
Quite entertaining.
That doesn't take itself too seriously, does it? That's a bit
It's
of fun,
entertainment,
that
yeah.
sort of food, whereas this is all very serious.
I think it's entertaining.
That's
though.
probably what you go in there for, though, isn't
You
it?
do, yeah.
A place like that. So
Yeah, he
it's a
like
bit-
flicks the
little
egg
bit
over and
different.
catches it on his hat and all that kind of stuff, yeah.
The service staff do some interesting, cool, unique, or terrible presentation or experience with a dish served tableside. Well, Nusret had seen these as well, and by 2017 he had multiple restaurants that were full of people with their phones out, showing their friends and followers what it's like to spend $1,000 per head on a 3-course meal, and now it came with more flair than before. If you were in the restaurant at the same time as the owner, you might be lucky enough for a slightly sweaty man to come over, cut your steak tableside with some special salty seasoning technique. Enter the creation of a monster.
Did you see his arm there? I've seen a lot of people criticise him because he's got such hairy arms, and when he does the salt like that, it just all bunches up in the hair.
Seasoning technique. Enter the creation of a...
It's just like a salty arm.
Sticking in all the sweat.
No, I know.
He's a character, and he's invented a character.
Yeah.
And people swarm round because they want to be. Now it's an Instagram world, isn't it, where people want to be seen with him or seen at his restaurant or whatever it is, and having that gold leaf. And he's invented something, I think, that's based on himself. I love it. I think he's done a great job. But whether I hate him or not, I don't know him, so I can't hate him.
He seems like the sort of guy that'd probably be pretty annoying.
Yeah, exactly.
But
I
Not
agree
mine,
with
but
that.
I'd say, I must admit.
But that being said, never met him, don't know him, and he's very successful, and that's why a lot of people are going to hate him. If you can charge $1,000, if I sold that for £2, but one day I figured out how to
pissed
sell.
off.
It's true.
Yeah.
But if I figured out one day how to sell that for £1,000 to people, and I was selling loads, people would be like, "It's just a normal cup, that." Whereas anyone else, if you're clever enough, you'd be like, "Fair play." That's awesome.
Yeah.
He's created a brand in himself. I mean, these other people have done it. David Beckham created a brand in himself.
Yeah.
Doing what he did best. There's no difference what David Beckham did as far as being a footballer and creating a brand, and what this guy's done as a chef and a front of house host. However you want to call him.
Built a brand around him, and then put the prices up accordingly.
Like you say, though, he comes across as someone you'd be like, mate, do one.
Yeah.
Doing nothing. Right?
Yeah, and anyone that's that seems to take things that seriously, and like pulling a bone out of out of a piece of meat like that. Come on, mate. Chill out.
I think he's looking at it thinking, that's shite, that is.
But look at my eyes.
He didn't even cook it, that's the thing. He's probably just been in the back counting money, smoking cigars.
I bet he did cook it.
The monster. This video was literally everywhere. Immediately the term Saltbae skyrocketed across social media. Suddenly his restaurant name was seeing more Google searches by orders of magnitude in recent years. People were scrambling to either see why this was so popular or to find out if they could afford to go and experience this viral sensation themselves. Essentially, a man who people thought were attractive was sprinkling salt in a funny way that bounces off of his elbow and onto your steak had been so popular that it propelled the man and the chain of restaurants decades into the future of success. He took his 15 minutes of fame and translated it into over $50 million.
Wow.
Of course, hard work and ambition got him to this stage, and he did make good food, have a good restaurant experience, and then, of course, the foresight to capitalise on this. Celebrities from every industry on the planet were finding their way to the viral sensation's tables. He was being interviewed by massive publications. Saltbae was everywhere. He started opening new restaurants all over the world, each with the same or higher absurd food prices. Despite the reason for the success being that of seeing him do the Saltbae act with food, just the brand name alone was enough to attract those wealthy enough to eat gold-covered steaks, and of course posting pictures on Instagram.
Goofy, innit? Ribbery eating ribs.
So now you've heard about why he is successful. He came from poverty, worked his whole life and did incredibly well for himself. An actual great story to hear. We can think the price of the food is ridiculous, but aside from that, no real reason to hate the guy at all. No one's forced to eat there. They did it for the sickness that is the social media clout. I can't be mad that he was smart enough to capitalise on the fame and turn this into a restaurant empire. So when did things start going wrong for Saltbae and the public's opinion of him? Well, to be as flamboyant and out there as he already was by this stage requires a certain personality type. This personality type, whatever we want to call it, is one that feeds on attention. With the money, the posing with the celebrities every night, the fame, it can turn some people into a complete monster. In Turkey, you would ask a kid, what would you like to be? He or she would say a doctor, an engineer, astronaut. Now everybody wants to be a butcher because of me. Now if you ask a kid, they want to be Saltbae. They see me as an idol. I'm an inspiration to a lot of people in a very short period of time. Now this is not a joke, obviously I can't really stop myself from laughing here, but this was an interview from Saltbae published in late 2021 with The Times. The statement, when read by most people, does of course betray the narcissism of Saltbae. It's not enough to be wildly successful as he is, but needing to make out that he is a literal idol to children because he sprinkles salt on steak. And far be it from me to say that he's entirely wrong and no kids have said they want to be Saltbae because he's rich and famous, which kids definitely want to be. But I can say kids do not by and large want to be a butcher, since butchers have and still do exist across the globe and receive no fame or fortune for their work. If we approach this statement with the most charitable lens possible, what he's confusing is kids want to have over 50 million followers on Instagram, hang out with their favourite social media stars, football players and actors, while having $60 million in a dozen restaurants, which doesn't make Saltbae an idol. It makes him any other rich and famous person on the planet who kids want to be. The occupation is completely irrelevant at that stage. The reaction to this quote on...
Do you think it's all him? Do you think there's...
I think there's people behind him telling him how to behave and act. I think it's all him.
You think it's all him? And do you think
reminds me a bit like he's a bit Floyd Mayweather, Conor McGregor.
Yeah,
all in the same sort of like category.
Slightly over top. Bit of a sort of caricature of himself, really, isn't it?
Yeah,
to
very
an extent.
egotistical.
Could argue marketing genius.
Slightly eccentric. Yeah, of course. Well, it makes him stand out, I suppose, doesn't it? So that's what he's going for. Makes him a bit different.
I'm just wondering about like the opening of these restaurants and stuff. If there's other people behind that. People have capitalised on his fame and invested in there.
Maybe, I would guess so.
Investment for that. Yeah.
So his net worth, maybe his empire's worth 75 million, but his net worth is probably.
I bet it's more than that now. But I think what you've got with him, when he opened his first restaurant, remember, he might have had investment from like his brother or his dad, a family member, sort of thing, to get the first restaurant up and running. That's when it hit fame. So then he's took that fame and gone to Dubai. He's probably had investment in Dubai from a local sort of like representative who said, I'll sponsor you. They don't give you 50% or whatever it is of what you need to get a decent restaurant in a decent building in a decent area of Dubai. And he's gone with that, and he's smashed it out of the park with that and paid the guy back. Took his and then gone to Miami or gone to wherever else he's gone. Smashed it on his own. But I think the brand's too big for him to have an entourage of investors now.
Yeah,
I think there might be some still.
Yeah,
and if they are probably family or even famous people.
Yeah,
who are the ones behind the the Instagram posts. As soon as you get a famous investor and they post something to their 50 million, if Saltbae invested in the Office Blokes tomorrow, and he posted on there the Office Blokes, our subscribers go right up.
Yeah.
even if he is the most hated man on the planet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
or whatever it says.
I'm starting to warm to him now, though. I must
Just in
admit.
case he wants to invest.
You come and get your naked body, Mike, and sprinkle sushi over you.
Listen, if he's going to invest, it'll do for me.
Yeah, I wonder how much food he's comped over the years as well for the celebrities.
Oh, it'd be a lot.
Because I know like what a lot of rich and famous people are like, where even if he goes, it's on the house today, a lot of people will probably just leave a crazy generous tip instead. Or
Yeah, but a lot of people, what they do when it is on the house, a lot of people want that in the social media generation now. A lot of people want that bill that comes in at 24 grand, 25 grand.
Yeah, you post
so it's
the
the
bill.
posting a copy of the bill. You know, we were out at Saltbae last night. Look at my bill, 250 grand,
Yeah.
whatever it may be.
Yeah.
you know? And that's the trend that happened. You know?
just found Jason Statham's receipt on the floor. Look how much he tipped.
Yeah, things like that.
Yeah, just conveniently found.
Yeah, that's
his
what it
way.
is. Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
Want to be, the occupation is completely irrelevant at that stage. The reaction to this quote on social media tells the story of what, normal people thought about this, with someone calling him
read.
the Kanye West of putting salt on things, but without the charisma, which hasn't aged extremely well, to be honest. Now, some of the more behind-the-scenes reasons as to why people don't like Saltbae is he's accused of poor treatment of workers despite making a considerable sum of money. This comes in the form of employees claiming he was taking a cut of their tips, and when they brought it up, he fired them. He settled this out of court for $230,000, then the other lawsuit against him for more tip-related shenanigans. There's also the constant discussion about the insane prices, just the excess of it all, including one bill that came from London that went public at £37,000 for a meal.
Wow.
Then there's the disregarding of health safety rules, which got one of his restaurants closed in Boston. But all of that is nothing compared to what comes next. If going viral created Saltbae, it would only be poetic that going viral also destroyed Saltbae.
Think about it. Yeah. Well, you think if he plays in MLS for the next 3 years, there's a World Cup in the States.
Why is he there?
They come asking.
No idea.
This is one of,
Tugging
if
on
not
his
the
arm.
most awkward videos I've ever seen. Saltbae fully displays his main character syndrome at the World Cup finals when Argentina lifted the trophy in the back and forth nail-biting match against France. Within minutes,
I don't know which was more. What's it? Him having to try to get hold of the World Cup and try to get hold of Messi, or Messi wearing that. What's it? Had a bit gown.
Yeah, I'm not sure, yeah. Yeah, it was a bit strange, wasn't it?
Yeah, just I don't know. Going back to what they were saying there about the service charge and stuff. On a bill, a service charge. If he's putting charges in, let's say for instance you get a bill. You go, I don't know. You go to a pub, right? And you get a bill, and the bill's 48 quid, and you leave 20 quid tip, right?
Yeah.
Or I don't know, whatever it may be, a tenner
Yeah.
tip, 20%, right? Give that. Or if you go in a restaurant and the bill's 36 grand and you're leaving 20% or 15%, does that service charge become a service charge to be shared by all, or does it become a tip for the waiter? Because I think that's a shared. But I know a lot of waiters share tips.
Yeah.
But I think there's a difference in that value.
I think shared amongst staff, yes. Not shared amongst
The owner,
The owner.
who's created it,
yeah.
who's created the reason. He could sell that steak for 20 quid.
Yeah.
And then you'd only get £4 tip, but he's not. He's selling it for 1,700. But you could get £10, and then you're doubling your tip on the service charge.
I get what you're saying because
Because only bringing
tip
the same
is-
plate out.
Yeah,
and
because
he's the one doing all the fucking about.
yeah. So the tip may have been £7,000 if it was 20% on that 34 bill, and then that server expected £7,000, got 5 or
Yeah.
whatever, and then he took 2
Yeah.
potentially. But I still think it's when you give a tip in good faith, it's for the staff.
You're
isn't
not
it?
giving a tip. You're paying a service charge.
That's different.
It's a difference.
So it's like when you have in a normal restaurant, you have a table above 10, for example.
Well,
they charge
I'll
a
give
service
you an
charge.
example, right? So I'm the waiter, right? So, and I know people before they all start getting on to me about this. I know waiters share a lot of the tips with all the other staff. I get
Yeah.
that, I understand that.
Yeah.
But some don't. Some keep whatever they get, right? So I'm the waiter. I'm bringing all the food over, dishing it all out. Is everything okay? Yeah, all happy? Yeah. And all of a sudden, someone goes, "Oh, do you know what? Do you fancy a bottle of Moët?" And he comes over, and I think there's Dom Perignon on there before, weren't they? At 1,600 quid a bottle.
Yeah.
Right. Someone brings over Dom Perignon here from the bar. Pop, bam, puts them on your table, pours each one a glass, goes back to the bar. Right. That's all he's done.
Yeah.
You're the one rushing around. Who gets the tip there? The 30 quid steak or the 1,600 quid bottle of champagne?
I get what you're saying. I think we need to know more of the details of
Yeah.
to what degree. you know.
Service charge seems like an internal added tax, basically,
Correct.
doesn't it? For the whole thingy, for the building, for the ambience, for the surroundings, for everything. But an actual tip, I would say, normally goes to your waiter or waitress that
Who's
actually
looking
serves
after
you,
you.
and you give
it's,
that them.
It's down to them what
Then
they
if they
do with
want,
it from there.
if they want to
Correct.
share it, that's
Yeah.
fine. But you're usually paying for a decent. If someone's serving the food, you're not going to get as big a tip, are they?
Yeah.
So we go in restaurants where the service charge is included in the bill, right? So they'll say service charge is included, but I still sometimes give money to the waiter.
Yeah.
If we've been looked after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll get up and above. They'll probably get the double, the same of what they've got.
Yeah.
So they'll probably get another 15-20%, right? But if the service has been bang average, then I won't. I'll just leave it to what it is on the bill.
Yeah. It's a tricky one, that, isn't it?
Yeah,
The
it's
service charge does sort of say that, for the service you're receiving rather than...
Yeah.
It's a tough one.
But you could argue the chefs are part of the service.
Part of
and,
it, I
Pot
suppose,
washers,
the
pot washers, the bar
yeah,
staff.
the cleaner.
Yeah, everyone's in it.
Yeah.
This has already played out in the court of public opinion a little bit, because there was an episode of Kitchen Nightmares years ago where the boss was taking, he was either taking all or like half of the server's tips, and the clips on YouTube, and look at the comment section.
Yeah. Happens
It's
over
like
here.
absolutely everyone just saying what a scumbag.
I read comments over here about certain people who get dismissed from a restaurant, and then all of a sudden they go straight on social media and say the owners never give us our tips.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I go in and question. I'll say that's what someone's put on social media, saying they're not giving the tips. It's bang out of order. And they go, oh, they got the tips. They've just been sacked. They were arseholes.
Yeah.
And then you realise it's a two-way story. You know,
Yeah. But if he settled out of court for 230 grand,
it's a lot of money in it. But it
Yeah.
could have been.
Yeah, of course,
how much
yeah.
could he have took?
well, precisely, that's a
Well,
couple of weeks.
on these bills, it could have been a hell of a lot more than that, I would guess.
To what is the most emotional high of their life, one of the most prestigious and coveted achievements in the world of sports. A completely unrelated and not even Argentinian man who is famous because of pouring salt from his salty elbow was standing next to the players, grabbing the World Cup trophy from them players who just won, doing his viral salt motions on it, lifting it in the air, kissing it.
He winked with sunglasses on as well. Did you see that? He just saw his eyebrows slightly.
He shouldn't have even been anywhere near.
No, why?
You're not
No,
allowed, you're not allowed to touch the World Cup.
Why is he there?
You know that.
So it's supposed to be winning teams, isn't it?
Winning team, previous winners, and 2 members of FIFA. I think it is.
Yes, something like that.
That's
Yeah.
allowed to touch
That's
it.
it.
Yeah.
And then Saltbae as well, with his sweaty,
And the kids.
salty hands.
Yeah, I think you can. I think your family can sort of winning team and a family.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
it's open to family like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, you're
But
right.
this guy had no right. Goes to show money talks when it comes to FIFA and the corruption.
Yeah, absolutely,
How
yeah.
bent they are.
Do you think he's got in
Corrupt
there because he knows people over there in like
and- I
the
think
Middle East and
Infantini's
stuff?
probably been inside and got free meals and stuff.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, it's definitely something to do with that.
Don't think it would have happened in the UK, but in
No
Qatar, it's sort of different rules, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Just about everything he shouldn't have been doing and had absolutely no right to do. The internet was yet again on fire with talk of hashtag Saltbae. This time though, it wasn't 2017's bewilderment and intrigue, it was derision, cringe and anger. Whenever you thought this was over, another clip or image surfaced of this man doing something else to the world champions, though the biggest being Messi's look of utter confusion when he was being repeatedly grabbed from behind by a butcher from Turkey. In the aftermath of being laughed at for this specific interaction, not content with being humbled a little bit and reflecting on what it is people were unhappy about regarding his behaviour, Saltbae did what any other narcissist would do. He posted a video on his Instagram of himself and Lionel Messi meeting, shaking hands, exchanging a few words and taking a picture at one of his restaurants. Saltbae's
Popular as well,
post
isn't it?
also
Yeah,
tagged
like
Messi, but all 3 hashtags were about Saltbae, salt, and of course not forgetting hashtag SaltLife. This is clear to all as a pathetic grasp at saving face, that Messi does in fact like him and they are friends of some kind, as opposed to what we all know, which is if you're famous and you go to a place with other famous people, you might exchange a few words and take a picture, especially if you're eating at this person's restaurant. That, however, doesn't give you the right to grab them repeatedly in the best moment of their life on a pitch you shouldn't be on.
Right. Another point of what's it here for me, right? One's in his workplace and someone's going over and asking him for a photo. One's in his workplace and someone's going over to him to ask him for a photo. Where's the difference?
He shouldn't have been there.
Oh, yeah, correct. He might have been invited. We don't know that.
Yeah, he had some sort of pass on, and he was on
He
the
did,
pitch. So
which means
Yeah.
he's got a pass to be there.
yeah,
Although he shouldn't have been there. We all agree with
it's
that.
It's just well
100%.
sketchy,
Yeah.
isn't it? Because we don't know the full story. I guess to is how he's actually got on there.
But one's in his workplace doing his job while someone's there and on social time asking for a photo, and it's exactly the same on the other side. So
unless Saltbae is the one getting the pictures with the celebrities at his restaurant.
I'm sure it's a bit
If
of both.
if he's going up to Messi and it's like, oh, Messi's there.
I think it's a bit of both. I think when they're going into that restaurant knowing that it's one of the most high-profile restaurants in the world.
Yeah.
Whether it be in Dubai or Miami or wherever it was.
I don't think sort of like people like Messi and Pogba need the publicity. Do
No,
they?
absolutely not.
They're not going there to get a picture taken. They might have one taken, but not going there for that specific reason where he was.
But I know these certain restaurants in, say, London, even Manchester, where I know when you go, there's going to be 5 or 6 famous people in there, and they do it deliberately so they're not bothered.
Yeah.
So when they go in, they're not the centre of attention. There's 5 or other 6 people in there.
Yeah.
But Pogba's got a big ego.
Yeah,
So
he has.
if he's going to go and spend a few grand on a meal, he's telling people about it.
Yeah.
Look where I am.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's not like he's going there for a quiet meal. I don't think anyone's going there for a quiet meal.
No, I agree. Yeah.
It's all about the clout. It's all about posting the bill, Instagram picture.
This is all, but I get he shouldn't have been there, and the bit that bothers me is I'm a football fan and he shouldn't have been there.
Yeah.
No, I agree. Yeah.
But he's got a pass on from somebody.
Yeah.
And it should be an investigation to who gave him that pass and where he got it from and why was he touching the cup, and we'll find out who it was, not behind the closed doors. Let's find out who it was, and then you're out.
It's another one that's going to be brushed under the carpet by FIFA, though, isn't it? Or UEFA, because just joking.
No, it's FIFA, not
FIFA,
UEFA.
sorry, it is FIFA, isn't it?
Yeah. So far, though, other than him being very cringe, I don't find him very likable. He's obviously a bit of an egotist and a narcissist.
Yeah,
I've not seen much that he's done wrong other than grabbing the World Cup. He's selling people crazy expensive steaks that he probably buys for cheap. People buy into it. He's going to have suppliers. He's going to have a good price. Turkish butcher is going to get a good price for his stuff. But either way, he's kind of taken something and made something crazy out of it. It's a success story.
I get 100%
From someone who isn't very likable.
And I don't know him, whether I don't know anyone that's met him to be likable or not. No one's ever told me. He's a really nice guy, that Saltbae. I've never heard anyone say that.
It might be.
He might. I don't know.
Could be.
But where he's treated his staff so far, if he's treating his staff bad, then no, he's not.
That's not good, is it? Not at all.
I wonder what they get paid. Because if it's that high end and you're charging that money, you better be paying your staff well as well.
Unlikely.
You not think?
I don't think so. Maybe the chef's bolt.
Yeah.
Following this, Saltbae has been banned from the US Open, and FIFA are opening an investigation into his antics at the World Cup. They want to know why and how this man was so close to the players in the aftermath, and why was he touching the cup, which is strictly against the rules. The only people who are allowed to touch it are the winners and a few officials, as this is one of the most, if not the most prestigious achievements in sports. Music events are also following suit on the ban, just saying Saltbae can't come here, of course to get their own taste of the clout that comes from doing so when a topic's going viral.
There he is.
A bit of self-awareness here. But it's hard to be mad at them because of how thoroughly unlikable this man seems to be from these recent events. In terms of his restaurants, what started out as being good food for a reasonable price turned into excess for the sake of it, existing solely for people who want to flex that they ate at an internet memes restaurant with a piece of meat that is no better than something 1/10 of its cost, essentially making it a Supreme t-shirt but on a plate. Since then, as he gets more and more popular, he opens more and more restaurants. The reviews show a clear trend. The more recent you go, the more people talk about overpriced, poor service, long wait times, and ridiculously over-the-top items on every menu that exist only to serve as pictures on Instagram. Despite the criticisms of the food and the pricing, and Saltbae himself, he continues to open new locations constantly, with the most recent being the Saltbae Burger in New York, which has awful reviews and serves up exactly what you would expect. Overpriced mediocrity that exists entirely to say, I ate at Saltbae's restaurant. While Saltbae undoubtedly worked hard for what he had before the fame, and likely works hard now after it, the man has an out-of-control ego, and it shows that viral social media clout can literally take you anywhere as long as you try hard enough. From a salty elbow on a sweaty man to holding the World Cup above his head for absolutely no reason. That's why everybody hates Saltbae, although I'm sure some people will still continue to dine out at his clout-restaurants, paying $17 for an abomination of a milkshake and $120 for a golden cheeseburger.
Wow.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, that's where it could go wrong for him if people are seeing everywhere it's overpriced and overhyped and stuff like that. Then people
you can
like that people want to post the like the receipts that they spent like thousands there, they'll be start getting a bit embarrassed saying, oh, shit.
The bubble will burst and people will be on to the next thing.
Well, exactly, that's the thing, isn't
that's
it?
what'll happen, but he's getting his money before the bubble bursts.
Yeah, correct.
And then he'll probably just dine out on that for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
It's hard to be angry at that, even though he's not a likeable person.
I just, anyone who's got that clout to be that successful with a brand, that's very well done.
Yeah.
They talk about people like that. It's what he's done. At least he's doing something. I mean, you've got people like the Andrew Tates of the world as well, doing similar sort of thing, branding themselves to whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
You can even look at Donald Trump, branded himself to what he wanted to do. Eventually got to the pinnacle of being president of the USA.
What have all three of them got in common?
Egos.
Infamous as well.
Yeah.
It's not everyone the vast majority of people don't like him, but they've built an empire based off that, being the heel, being like, no one likes you.
Yeah.
They've kind of hacked it a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like you say, I mean, it's hard to dislike people. It's hard to hate somebody.
Yeah, I wouldn't hate the guy, but he's not my cup of tea, without a doubt, with his ego and the way he goes
It's
about
just too
things.
cheesy for me.
Good
That's
luck-
what it is.
Good luck to people want to pay that amount of money. I don't care, because I wouldn't anyway, so it doesn't bother me one way or the other. But
cheese with gold sprinkles on it.
Yeah.
Is what that is.
How much
Off his
money
elbow.
would you have to eat at his restaurant? If you were going to go and,
going off the way he is, his image and that, it's not the type of place I'd want to go anyway.
So if it was, just the two of you and you had 10 million and it was like, should we go and eat at Saltbae for a laugh?
I wouldn't do it anyway.
You still wouldn't do
Not
it?
being the person I am, there's absolutely zero chance I'd spend that much on money.
There's a restaurant I go to that's owned by a Turkish guy, and a lot of people don't like him because they think he's a bit over the top in the way he comes across. Personally, he's a friend of mine.
Yeah.
In a way of I think he's all right, but I talk to him on a level where I don't allow the cringe and the sleaze to come
Got
into
to know
it.
him a bit.
Yeah, so he's just he's just normal with me.
Yeah.
But with other people, I can see he's like a little bit, and you're like,
Just puts a bit of a show on and stuff.
yeah, sometimes.
That's fine, isn't it?
But a lot of people say to me, "Oh, you don't go in there," and I go, "I like him. He's an alright guy."
Yeah.
But it's because he's different with me
Yeah.
than he is with the 24-year-old single female.
Ah, yeah. I
Right.
get you.
Yeah.
He's not me too and you. Is that what you're trying to say?
Correct.
Why?
I don't know. I tried it once. Give him that.
Nice.
Yeah, bounced him off my elbow.
Thought you meant elbow deep.
Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed that. Let us know what you think of Saltbae on a global scale.
Yeah.
See if we can get him liked.
Yeah.
Yeah, the office
Good luck with
boys
that
can
one.
turn it round.
Oh, yeah.
Let's have some
Yeah,
free
yeah.
steaks.
Yeah. And we'll catch you on the next one.
Cheers, guys.